tail. So I'm gonna even share this with you guys so you can see it, okay? So here was the most missed question. The graph below describes the motion of the person. And that makes sense because we haven't really talked about graphs. Like you had a video, but I didn't really show you how to find that. So we're gonna talk about graphs for a little bit today. And then the next most missed question was the different types of velocity. So we're gonna talk about that for a second. And then you guys did pretty good on the calculations, scalar versus vector, and distance versus displacement. You guys did really good on those, okay? So we're gonna talk a little bit about the different types of velocity, and then we're gonna talk about graphing. And then if you did not take this, you're gonna take this again. And if you did, I'm gonna give you another quiz kind of similar to this and just let you take that. And that's kind of how we're gonna finish out today. So then your homework is gonna be another set of video notes that I don't think I've actually recorded yet, so I'll record them during lunch today. And you guys can watch those for homework. And so the next thing we'll be talking about is, we've talked about speed and we talked about velocity. And so the next one we're gonna talk about is acceleration. And in your mind, just thinking about acceleration, what does that mean?
Faster.
Going faster, okay? So then we're gonna get into calculations for acceleration, okay? And so this, I'm gonna try to make you guys and put it in Schoology of vocab list. And you can either do it on paper or you can do it on however you wanna do it. So remember, one of the things I wanna emphasize is you do need, so if we were in school, I would be able to like help you guys with organization and due dates, but we're not. So one of the things I would suggest is that you have like a notebook, and it could be a notepad like this, or a binder, or it could even be something as small as like this, or like the like if you have an old composition notebook, something. But what you don't want to do is have like a sheet of paper over here that's about speed, a sheet of paper over here that's about velocity, or have it mixed in with your math and your English stuff. Try to keep everything for one subject in one place that you can just pick it up and say, I know this is for physics, okay? All right, so let me stop sharing this. And so I'm just gonna name everybody who needs to take that, whether they're on here or not. So David, you need to take it. Emmanuel, I don't think Stephanie's here, and Jack, you guys need to take it. And then what we're also gonna do is, if you were not here last week, remember I talked about grades. So this class is looking pretty good. I can tell you that almost, there's like, I see maybe like 2 C's, maybe a B, maybe 3 C's. And then everybody else is either an A or an F, okay? A or an F. If you have an F, starting today, that's when I'm calling parents and saying you're either not showing up for class or not doing work. So make sure you are getting work done. And I'll try to do breakout rooms later and just talk to you individually about grades. I'll try to make a empty breakout room and just pull people in there. All right, so let's talk about graphing. So I think, let me double check. I think I have, I should probably log in from here. All right, so let's see. If we go to today's lesson. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. All right, so in this folder, this is still in the velocity and review. I need to change this date because we're way past this now. What we're gonna be looking at, so this is the video notes that you guys were supposed to watch last week. And I talked about the graphs. And then we're gonna look at these graphs here, okay? So I'm gonna open it right here. If you wanna open them on your sheet, okay, or on your Schoology, or if you wanna look at them on my screen, I'm going to I really need this where you guys can kind of, you don't have to turn it in, but I want it where you guys can kind of work on it. But we'll leave it up so you can kind of see. Let's see if we can make it bigger. Is that pretty big? You guys can see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to talk about how to read the graph. Okay. And then we do have to do a little bit of math. So if you have some type of calculator, whether it's your phone or like something like this or a super fancy one, or even something like this, okay? Whatever you need, we're gonna do a little bit of math, okay? All right, so if we are talking about this graph, the first thing I want you to notice is what is on the, listen carefully, okay? Tell me what is on the x-axis. What's on the x-axis?
Time.
Time, very nice. All right, so we got time on the x-axis. All right, and then on the y-axis is distance, okay? Anytime you have distance versus time, we call this a speed graph, okay? And the reason why I'm telling you that is because later on we're gonna have time down here, but this part will change. And if this is changed, it may be a different graph. All right, so just looking at this, remember we talked about slope just for a little bit. If you were looking at this, could you tell me from at what point, so if we look at this, right, this is the period of time. So 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then this is how far they're traveling. If we go up, okay. Let's just start really easy, okay? Let's not even look at these questions yet. Could you tell me could you guesstimate at 3 minutes how far the school bus had traveled?
Around 9 kilometers.
Okay, around 9 kilometers. Does everyone see that? So I said at 3 minutes, how far had it traveled? So here's 3 minutes. And if I go all the way up to where the dot is, that's about, if I go over, it's in between the 8 and the 10, so it's about 9 kilometers, okay? What about, Jalen, how far had the bus gone at 9 minutes?
20 kilometers.
Yes, 20 kilometers, very nice. All right, so we know how to hopefully read a graph. We know if the numbers in between, you know, let's do one more. Rhea, how long in minutes had it been when the bus had traveled 16 kilometers? How long in minutes did it take for it to go 16 kilometers?
8
8 minutes, very nice, 8 minutes. So we started here, 16, come all the way over, drop down, that's at 8 minutes. All right, now let's look at the questions. Could somebody tell me from what time was the bus not moving, so it was stopped? So if it's stopped, that means your distance should not be changing, correct?
from 4 to 6 minutes.
Very nice. All right, so Parker said from 4 to 6 minutes. So if I go up to 4 minutes right here, all the way over to 6 minutes, this bus is not moving. It's at 12 kilometers. It's still at 12 kilometers. It's still at 12 kilometers. It is not moving at this point, okay? So from 4 minutes to 6 minutes, the bus was not moving, okay? All right, so then the next question is, let's see. All right, so if we say the bus was moving at a steady speed, so 1 is moving, okay, so we know it can't be right in here. And the speed was consistent or steady, so it's not really fluctuating. What do you think that is? From what minutes to what minutes? Any guesses?
0 to 4.
Very nice, 0 to 4. It is increasing at a steady rate, okay? So it's just a nice straight line. There's no curvature to it, no like, right? It's just nice and straight, all right? So, and then This one says, at what time was the bus accelerating? So technically it's still accelerating here, but it's also accelerating from 6 to 9 minutes as well, okay? How about the total distance that the bus traveled? Total distance. So by the time 20 kilometers, all right? By the time he finished, he had traveled 20 kilometers. All right, so you guys are pretty good at this. Now, we want to talk about the average speed. So one of the questions was talking about instantaneous speed, constant speed, average speed. So that was one of the questions that we had some issues with. Typically, when you do an average, what do you do? Just in general.
Add up all the numbers and then divide it by how many there are.
Very nice. So if I want an average speed, I'm going to look at the average or all the distance that I traveled and divide it by all the minutes that I was traveling, okay? So here, when we say average speed, so what's the, let me switch this to, let's switch to, I'm gonna switch this to my iPad for a second so you can see it. All right, so hopefully. Can you guys, I don't see it yet. So. All right, here we go. All right, so now, there we go. This is the same thing, but now I can just write on it. All right, so now if we are looking at the total average speed for the bus, total average speed, all right? Somebody tell me, Kaylee, can you tell me what the, what is the, why can't I think? Formula, there we go. Formula for speed. How do I calculate speed? I can't hear you.
I have to be honest with you, I don't know what the formula is.
Don't know for the formula for speed? Well, tell me one thing that speed involves. What do you need to know?
It's distance and time.
It is distance and time. So do I multiply, divide, and if I do, what do you do?
Divide.
Divide, very nice. And which one do you think goes on top, time or distance? You got a 50% chance of getting it right? Distance,
No.
very nice.
Over time, yeah.
Yes, distance over time. All right, so we got distance, and then if we divide it by time. All right, so if we're doing average, Lydia said we add up everything and then we divide by however many we had. So if we add up our total distance, I can't remember who said it. I think maybe Jalen. What was the total distance we actually went? Anybody remember the total distance that the bus actually traveled?
Maybe 20.
It was 20. Very nice. It was 20 kilometers, 20 km. All right. And then what was our total time?
9 minutes.
9 minutes. 9 minutes. So 20 divided by 9, if I get my calculator here. You guys tell me what you got, if you got one, if you got a calculator. Did anybody get a number?
Couldn't one just ask Siri?
Fine, ask Siri, see what she says. I think it'd be easier just to type it in, but go ahead.
Oh, I forgot I was in the Zoom meeting, so I can't.
Anybody get a number? 20 divided by 9.
20 divided by 9.
2.2222.
Yahtzee is about 2.2222.
Very nice, 2.222. Okay, so I'm just gonna say 2.2. So my speed is equal to 2.2, what is that, miles per hour, meters per second?
Kilometers per
Meter
meter?
per second.
Minutes?
Kilometers per minute. Very nice. I'll put a IN right here so we know. This was kilometers per minute. Very nice. This is the average speed. Okay. Now, here's the new thing. If you haven't been writing, you need to write this down. If you haven't been paying attention, you need to pay attention. Okay. All right. On here, it says calculate the speed from 0 to 4 minutes. Okay. This is where we have to use the slope calculation. So remember slope. Anybody remember what slope is?
As a run.
Rise over run. All right, very nice. When we do rise over run, we have to use 2 points. So it's always rise would be Y and run would be X. So in other words, when we're doing rise over run, we're still calculating speed. So it's still speed is equal to distance divided by time. Okay. I'm going to zoom in for now and I'll go back so you can see the graph. Oh, actually I can just do this. Let's rotate. That's already. So there we can see more. All right. So we're still doing we're still doing distance over time, but now for distance, we're going to do Y, the first Y minus, let's do this another way. Our second Y minus our first Y. Okay, and then for X, we're going to do our second X minus our first X. Okay. All right. So remember, when you're looking at a graph, the point you're looking at, you can give it X and Y coordinates, okay? So for instance, if it says the speed from 0 to 4 minutes, okay? If I'm looking at the speed at 0, okay? The X coordinate is 0 and the Y coordinate is also 0. Does everybody see that? Okay. So the coordinates here are, which color did I do for? The coordinates here are 0, 0, all right? Now, if I look at it, what was the time? It was at 4 minutes, okay, at 4 minutes. So I'm looking right here from 0 to 4 minutes, okay? If I want to find the coordinates for 4 minutes, at 4 minutes, I'm going to go all the way up till I find 4 minutes. I need an X and a Y coordinate for 4 minutes. An X and a Y.
12.
What's the X coordinate for 4 minutes? X coordinate.
4.
4. Very nice. All right. So the X coordinate is 4. This point is at 4. All right. And then what's the Y coordinate for this one?
12.
12. All right. So this is 12. Everybody understand what I just did there? Okay, so now we're just going to take these and we're going to subtract them. Okay, so it's going to be kind of tiny, but I want you to be able to see the graph too. Okay, all right, so down here, when we did rise over run, now I'm just going to fill in those numbers. Okay, my second Y coordinate. Okay, so my coordinate at 4 minutes was what?
12.
12, very nice. So this 12 came from right here. This is my Y2, this is Y1, this is X1, this is X2. Everybody understand that? Remember, this sheet is in Schoology, okay? I know it's hard because you don't have a copy, so to speak, but it is in Schoology, okay? All right, so now I said Y2 minus Y1. What was Y1?
0.
0.
0.
Very nice. All right, and then I'm supposed to divide that by X2 minus X1. Okay, so take a second, everybody find X2 and X1, fill it in, and then I'll fill it in. Okay. All right, what'd you guys get for x2?
4,
4 and x1?
0.
0. Very nice. All right, 12 minus 0 is still 12. 4 minus 0 is still 4. So my speed here is 3, and this was still kilometers per minute. Okay. All right, you need a calculator, okay? I'm gonna leave this up here. I'm gonna make it bigger though. This next question says, what is the speed from 6 to 9 minutes, okay? From 6 to 9 minutes. So write down from 6 to 9 minutes. That's what you should be looking at. You may want to write down how I did this. Everybody's going to do it. And then I'm going to do a Mentimeter and see if you got the right answer. So everybody's working on it. Okay, so make sure you know how to do this. I'm going to put the graph back up. So here is the graph now. So 6 to 9 minutes, 6 to 9 minutes. I'm going to make the graph as big as I can so you can see it. Okay. 6 to 9 minutes. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to work on that. See if you can figure out the speed from 6 to 9 minutes. All right, as you get your answer, I'm not going to share the screen yet, but here is the link. I want you to tell me what answer you got. Once you get your answer. We are going to put it in the Mentimeter. So I sent you the link. About another 30 seconds. Everybody should be putting in a guess because you remember you got a quiz you're about to have kind of over this anyway. So you better go ahead and guess and see if you got it right. So I only had 6 people guess. So the rest of you who aren't guessing, you may want to put in a guess because in a second, you're going to get a quiz. It is perfectly fine if you did not get a whole number. That is a possibility. Okay. All right, let's see how we did. Here's what we got. Oh, am I still sharing my other screen? Oh, wait. Good. Very nice. All right, so yes, you should have gotten something, and I haven't said anything about rounding, so you could have gotten 2.6. You could have told me 2.67. Technically, you could have told me 2 or 3. You could have told me 2.7. So good. So the only thing I want you guys to remember is don't forget your units. So that's good. A lot of people did their units, but the numbers are correct. Okay. All right. So any questions on that? Okay. I would take any of these answers. 2.7. So this 2.6, I would take that, but technically remember this number behind it makes it round up. So I would take 2.7, 2.67, 3, that's technically right as well, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so here is what we are going to do, okay? And your numbers may not always be nice and pretty, and that's fine, okay? They won't be whole numbers most of the time. I can tell you that. If they are whole numbers, I probably was being nice. So here's what we got. I got a couple of people who did not do the quiz from last Friday, okay? So we are in this folder. I'm gonna send it through. Okay, we are in this folder. Here is what we're gonna do. I have not published this yet. I'm about to publish it right now, okay? If you were not in class on Thursday and you did not take this, which is a handful of people, you need to take this quiz right here. I think I need to open it back up. So let me just do that now. Okay, so you need to be taking this one, all right? Everybody else is working on these velocity practice problems. It's very similar to the one we took on Thursday, but let's talk about a couple terms really quickly. Constant means what? What if something's constant, what does that mean?
It means it's the same, like it's staying the same.
Very nice. It's staying the same. It's not changing. So make sure you use your context clues. Like, I know even if you see these words and you're like, I don't really know what that means. Like if you see instantaneous, that looks like the word instant, which means in that moment. Okay. So, and then average, we know what that means as well. Okay. So I want you to, we didn't talk about that one, but I want you guys to try that again. Let's see if we can get that. All right. So I'm going to publish this one. Let me change the due date on it. Enable. Make it due tonight. No password and save changes. And it's published. All right, I'm going to be right here. I'm going to do some breakout rooms. You can help each other if you want. Or actually, I'm just going to do like one breakout room. And I'm just going to pull people in there to talk about grades, okay? So let me do breakout rooms. That's what you're working on for the rest of class. You got about 10 minutes, so I think you should be able to finish, honestly, both of them, okay? I'm gonna be pulling people in talking about grades and attendance. So I'm just gonna do some random rooms. And then